Down the rabbit hole we go. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Dave Chappelle finally responding to the controversy surrounding his latest Netflix special called The Closer. Now, we all know what it is. We've heard that the LGBT community, they're upset because Dave Chappelle was bullying them and punching down and disrespectful and putting trans lives at risk, all this, that, and the third. But who's saying that really? Is it the entire LGBT community? Is it millions of people? Or is it a handful of people? And if it's a handful of people, why are they saying that? Is it because they're truly offended, or is there a different ulterior motive? What's going on here? Can we get to the bottom of it? I think Dave Chappelle kind of opened that door on Instagram. He did this video. It's about 6 minutes long. If you want to see that in its entirety, I'll link to that in the box. But right now we're going to see a piece of it so you kind of understand where he's going with this. After we get done with that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what he said there. Then I'll give you my 2 cents and my deep detailed analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refused. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we are speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore. I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say. For the record, and I need you to know this, everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about. In summer 2020, when the whole world shut down, I was outside doing shows. My neighbor had a cornfield, and he let me throw shows there, and people came from all over the country. Some people came from around the world to see those shows. The best comedians on earth came to my home and broke bread with me. And we lived our lives. We found a way to keep moving forward. I made a whole documentary about it. The first night of those shows was a piece that some of you might have seen. It was called 846, and it dealt with the death, the murder of George Floyd. This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. And when this controversy came out about The Closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Ted Sarandos at Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet. To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands. And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end, you must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, this is a whole different wrinkle to the story, a whole different angle to the whole situation. You know, I didn't think about that really, and I'm the kind of guy that normally would kind of think that way, but I just didn't in this case. I'm thinking about some of these larger groups that wouldn't be offended for whatever reason they wouldn't be offended. Of course, glad they put out a statement, a lot of these groups, because they have power in bullying heterosexual people into abiding by their wishes and their will. We want to have more LGBTs in music and media, in school, yes, school, children's books. So they have their own agenda that they want to bully others into acquiescing to, even other homosexual people that may not be with all the crazy LGBT agenda. So that was my initial thought process. But when I'm hearing Dave Chappelle talking about, well, I got a movie coming out and the studios don't want to pick it up, I'm like, oh, okay, I see. See, there's a long game. You know, I say that all the time when people talk about politicians and how they didn't get what they want right away. It's like, okay, if you voted for Trump and Trump didn't win, you just want to give up voting. It's like, that's not how this whole thing works. You got to play the long game because Trump can only do 2 terms in office. You got to think beyond him, beyond just the federal government. You got to think city, county, state, federal, everything over a period of years, hundreds of years sometimes. And I think a lot of these LGBT groups and other corporate interests are thinking about ways to try and marginalize Dave Chappelle, to silence his voice. And it goes back to like 20 years ago when they first identify him as being, I guess you would say, anti-trans or whatever the case. Okay. That may have been part of the whole Comedy Central thing. Remember, they were trying to get him to sign a contract, $50 million, and he didn't like the direction the network was going with his special. I mean, with his show. And he just left, went to Africa, didn't sign the contract. This could be an extension of that. Oh, you don't want to play ball. You want to do whatever you want to do. Oh, okay, well, check it out. We're going to make it to where no studio will pick your movie up. You're going to have a hard time being able to make things. They're making life difficult for him. So the ultimate thing he would do would just go ahead and just give up. Say, you know what? Y'all got it. I'm going to just cave in. I'm going to apologize. It won't be any more trans jokes. I'll do what you want me to do. Or maybe the apology won't even be enough. Maybe they don't like Dave Chappelle and they've decided, okay, we're going to halt your career right here. We're going to prevent you from being able to have a bigger platform and move forward. Okay. Now, hopefully I'm able to get my hands on that documentary. That's going to be a good thing to watch. And I think at this point, Dave Chappelle needs to look at alternative ways of being able to get his stuff to the masses. His name is so big that whatever he does, it could be independent, completely on his own. Like if Dave Chappelle launched a website and put some servers on it to host a movie and charge you to watch it, or put it on Amazon or something like that, or even on his own website, if he was to do something like that, people will buy it. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Netflix. It doesn't matter if it's one of these big Hollywood movie studios. It's totally irrelevant. The film was already done. All he wants to do right now is distribute it, but he's having a hard time because of the allegations. And again, that goes back to what I was asking from the jump. It's like, well, who's really upset? Because Dave Chappelle, in that piece right there, he was saying, well, I'm talking to the LGBT community and they're not really mad. They're not upset when I talk to them. They enjoy my comedy like everybody else. They're not so sensitive and butthurt. Just because you gay don't mean that you can't take jokes, right? So, I mean, what's going on? You have different powers that are trying to stifle them. It's very simple, and we see that all over the place. We see it in politics. We see it in other entertainment. Remember, DaBaby had his own little scuffle, his own little kerfuffle over some LGBT remarks. Nobody really cares. The baby has music that has all types of quote unquote bad stuff in it. Nobody really cares. Nobody had a problem booking him on all these different shows with the foul language and whatnot in his music. But then when it comes to the LGBT, now everybody wants to get all sanctified and offended and triggered and whatnot. It's so dumb. But we know now that it's really about money. It's about business. It's not even about offending the LGBTQ elemental P. It's not even about that. Because most gay people, straight people or whatever, they know what funny is. They can laugh at the jokes. I think a lot of this stuff is kind of pre-planned for the purpose of removing a guy that is not kowtowed to what powerful people want him to do. That's really what it is. So shout out to my man Dave Chappelle for refusing to back down. Okay. And it's not going to be, well, you're going to summon me and get me to think one way or another. No, I'm going to be me and that's it. And if you don't like it, I can't do nothing for you. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Dave Chappelle's response to the whole controversy? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. I say good for Dave Chappelle for having his viewpoints. Right on. Don't back down. If you feel that way, you want to put out comedy a certain kind of way, do it. The people love it. His fans have not abandoned him. You have a few people, special interest groups, that want to try to cancel him. But what they're realizing now is that Dave Chappelle cannot be canceled. You can't do it. Great comedy supersedes a few offended, butthurt people. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.